I have just read one of the most beautiful books I have ever read. A small volume written by Jewish Brazilian author Noemi Jaffe, describing the year of Avelut, of bereavement, after her mother's death. One of those rare books that make you cry and laugh, and even laugh while crying as you read it. In one passage about her grief, she writes, "I don't want to feel better, at least not yet, because it means the possibility of integrating the living memory of her touch, of her face, of the whole of her absence into my daily life. I don't want that to happen. I want to continue having, even with my routine almost back to normal, intervals of concentration on the pain and the physical memory of her presence." In some ways, this is how we are living after October 2023. We have our routines, our normal lives, but sometimes we simply need to pause and to concentrate on the pain, sadness, fear, and anger that we carry within us. There's a sense of guilt in not doing so, as if moving on would somehow erase what happened and what continues to happen still. We have been carrying pain, a very specific pain, loss. We lost the ability of being carelessly happy because there is a heavy, dark cloud hanging over us, weighing on our shoulders. We are mourning, even those of us who didn't lose someone dear near to us. We are mourning the people we were before October 2023. We are carrying dog tags, yellow ribbons, or even a shadow of what happened and what we became. We seem unable to overcome the paradox of life and death. As Noemi expresses, I refuse to hear or even say to myself the famous phrase, life goes on. In a certain sense, it doesn't go on. Despite the imponderability of time, something stops and stays there on the wall where the painting is missing. Today is a very special Shabbat. A baby blessing awaits us. We gather for Iskor service to remember our dear ones who have died. On this seventh day of Pesach, we have just read Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. We crossed those waters together. Yet, as we read during our Sedarim, our Passover dinners, in our liberal Haggadah, when Israel stood at the edge of the sea, each one said, I will not be the first to enter. They knew they had to continue, but behind them lay empty walls, abandoned homes, the bones of loved ones, their history. They felt bereavement for a time that was no more, even though it was a time of hardship and suffering. It was the life they once knew. Then, while they stood there deliberating, Nachshon ben Amidav leapt first into the sea and plunged into the waves. Through hope, they parted the waters. Here again, the paradox, bereavement alongside hope. Life goes on. They crossed the sea as we now must cross our own. They walk forward and witness the Egyptians' dead, understanding that their freedom came at the cost of others' suffering. There was no easy path then, just as there is none now. When human beings, each made in the image of God, perish like this, all humanity suffers. As progressive Jews, we carry the death of our people, yet we also see the mourn for the deaths of other innocent souls dragged into this shadow, beneath the heavy dark cloud hanging over us all. To be a progressive Jew is to live within this paradox. Noemi writes, life goes on, but what is life? As if life were that which happens outside of death. But it's not like that. Life goes on, of course, but now with death, and not despite or beyond it. And so we carry on, paradoxically, with both life and death, with pain and yellow ribbons, with bereavement and hope intertwined. But we cannot remain on this side of the sea. We must find strength and courage. We must continue marching and fighting. Though we've crossed the waters together, the wilderness still stretches before us on our journey toward the promised land. This remains our goal. We are going to dance again, as the Israelis have been saying. And so Moses sings the song of the sea, while Miriam takes up her timbrel and calls to the other women to dance and to song. Mitzrayim, Egypt, will forever remain an empty space on the wall, a collective memory of suffering. Yet, on the far shore, there is dancing, there is strength, and there stretches before us the long path of healing yet to be traversed. For us today, this long journey begins with celebrating a new life. Yet, in this paradox of life and death, we find a juxtaposition of communal and personal grief. Our path continues as we remember those who are no longer with us. They live in our bodies, in our memories. We can feel them like a thin film of air embracing us. They have become a gentle brush against our consciousness. This is what grief should ultimately become. Not a heavy, dark cloud, but a light, embracing memory. As Noemi writes, what remains of someone through the eyes of those who remain is exactly that, love. Though there is that, hope springs forth in new lives. As poet Alden Solovey wrote for Pesach this year, our story is not complete, oh no. There will be more highs and lows, but the ending, oh my, will be tremendous. This is faith. Faith knows that our story is not complete, and the ending is beyond all our hopes for joy and wonder. It is time to cross the sea, time to find courage to march forward, time to gather our strength and face these adversities. We are no longer in Egypt, yet we wander still through the desert. We must save who remained behind in Mitzrayim, though we cannot return there ourselves. We cannot remain there. Herein lies yet another paradox. Today, as we celebrate a new life within these walls of the synagogue, as we remember with abiding love those who are no longer beside us, we must choose to follow Miriam's example, to take up our timbrels and lead our people with dance and song, and together we may reach our promised land. Shabbat Shalom.